have people hopefully have some more joining us. But welcome to the annual meeting of the Fellowship of Brethren Genealogists. As you probably know, we try to do this each year at annual conference, at least when we're here in person. I'm Harold Rhodes. I'm the president. The president serves normally. The vice president serves for a year as vice president and a year as president. And there may be some changes in that as we discuss our business. But I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg First Church of the Brethren, and following a lot of family lines, Rhodes and Wando, Baker, Broomball. So let's go around and share your name, where you're from, and if you want to share anything about your family line, briefly, you're welcome to do so. So Martin, would you like to start? You're close enough I can see your name.
Yeah. Martin Stoffers, my wife Patricia. We're from the Polo, Illinois congregation. But we have roots that go back through Ohio, Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. So
Virginia.
And Virginia. You want to introduce your?
Oh, well, one of the things that this is a little teaser here. This is a family history.
Wow.
Driver family.
Mary Funkin Driver?
Funkin Driver, yeah.
There's about 900 pages in here. This woman had 13 kids, so there are a lot of lines. That's your teaser.
I'm Marie Willoughby from Timbercrest in North Manchester. I'm here to support Anitra. I grew up in eastern Pennsylvania, connected to the Hoovers and the Schaffners and the Millers and the Freisingers and the some others.
Thomas, did you want to introduce yourself?
Oh,
No.
I missed you, Tom.
No.
Sorry.
I'm Thomas Leiby from Indiana. I guess I'm the media guy. I got one thin line as brethren goes back from Norris to Tootie, from southern Ohio to West Virginia.
I'm Karen Garrett. I'm from Southern Ohio, currently still looking for a congregation after Bear Creek closed several years ago. I'm also here with the Brethren Heritage Center exhibit this year. And my maiden name was Long. My mother's name was Wiles, and that doesn't go back Brethren hardly at all, but it goes Mennonite on my mom's side. And then I married Dean Garrett. Well, Brewbakers and Bernhardts and Brethren all the way.
I'm Larry Heisey, my wife Joyce, and her line, not much brethren, well, the sergeants and the lawyers, or Boyers, and it's about all the brethren in your line, I guess. I'm the Heiseys, mostly brethren in Christ, river brethren, until my grandfather became brethren, and then on brethren. I descend from Engel, that was the founder of the Brethren in Christ movement.
Oh, sure.
Jacob Engel. And my family is the Bowmans and the Heiseys, of course, Levy, Flory, lots of brethren. We're from Ohio. We're from Troy, Ohio.
Bob McClay from Central Pennsylvania. My father's mother is descended from Royers, Landises, all the way back. I have a serious problem. If I could solve that, I could go all the way back to John Noss from the Landises. My wife Connie's Southern York County Brethren at Cadorus Church, hundreds of thousands of them. Godfrey's and Myers and Keeney, Lehman. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand up so you can see me, and if nobody comes on soon, I'm gonna set that down and, disconnect the Zoom. I'm Anitra Kraus, I'm editor for the, Brethren Roots. I'm also filling in right now because we have a vacancy in the recording secretary position, so I'm taking the minutes. And I'm gonna be your guest speaker today. I'm from the 4 Mile congregation, South Central Indiana. I've just recently moved there. I'm originally from Northeastern Ohio. My families are the Painters, the Vonagos, the Detros. You know, those are the names that I'm mostly working with. And that's pretty much me.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm related to John Knotts too, but I'm not sure I can prove it. Okay, I'm gonna start with reports and see how many reports we have, and then we'll go to election of officers, and we have one or two new business items, and then on with the program. Okay, so the officers have been pretty busy this year with emails and online discussions with each other about different issues that come up, planning for this meeting and some things for the Brethren Roots and some resignation of officers and so forth. So I don't really have a formal report, but we've been doing a lot of communicating over the year. Do we have any treasurer reports? Charlotte Garst is our treasurer, and she has a good bit of health programs.
I might say I talked to Jimmy, and he was going to try to join us on Zoom, but I see he hasn't yet. Charlotte's sister just died, and they were meeting at the funeral home either today or tomorrow. So I guess be concerned about Charlotte and her health.
So do we have any idea what we have in the treasurer?
The last time I talked to him, he says 11,000. Well, that was previously last month, and previous time I talked to him, he said something might be a little bit more than that.
Okay, so around 11,000.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Jimmy Garst is the membership secretary. Do we have any report from him on that?
I thought he'd give it in person.
Yeah, we thought he would make it. Okay. And would you like to say anything as journal editor?
I'm the journal editor,
Oh,
yeah.
So we know you're
Okay.
here.
Yes, I'm here. One of the things I wanna emphasize, I'm gonna set this down since nobody's around right now, then you don't have to, then you can see me. When I took this position, I understood as editor, I didn't have to write every single article that went into the Roots. I thought I was just doing some layout, some quick proofreading. I've ended up writing 90% of what goes into the Brethren Roots right now. And I really encourage people, send me your stories. Also, when you get stuck, like, trying to make a connection, explain what that stick problem is a little bit. And we'll put what we call a query into the Brethren Roots. And that will allow other people may be able to help you get through that sticky part, okay? This is the kind of thing we want. We want to network with people. We don't want you to be out there individually. We want to start trying to network and using the Brethren Roots to do part of that. And hopefully that will, we've had, in the last couple issues, I've had some queries. We had a query about a Dunker church and nobody seems to know where it belonged. They're still looking for it. So They found it in one county record, but it didn't say which state that county was in, so there was more than one. We're trying to figure out which state we're actually looking at and seeing if we can find some information as to any kind of history from this church. You know, and the stories don't necessarily have to be strictly genealogy, because some of the history that goes with these is important also. My grandfather was a township trustee. If you go through just a genealogy tree, that doesn't tell you anything about him. But the history part of it tells you he was the first mechanic for the school buses of the school district. He was the second bus driver they hired. He was a township trustee. He owned a car dealership and had a gas station also. You don't find that in the trees. So stories like that are important to save also. And if you send them in, we'll publish them and people will have them to refer to.
Thank you. You know, we really need articles for Brethren Roots. And so think about if you have anything that might make an article, send them to her. I'm also the First Brethren Families Project coordinator. We haven't been very active maybe since COVID started. But we ask people who are doing research on the Brethren lines to, if they can connect with any of the original 8, then they're considered a First Brethren family. If they're can connect with a Brethren ancestor who was a Brethren in the 1st century of the Brethren, or the 2nd century, there's 3 levels. You need to be able to prove that by original documentation. So that's the challenge, at least one of the challenges. The original description of what was needed to prove your ancestry said that all the information you sent us had to prove, you had to have proof of all the dates and all you sent us. Well, as a committee checking those papers, it's almost impossible for us with our schedules and all to check all the dates. And so what I've been doing, and I hope you'll approve, is just checking the ancestry connections. You know, that your grandfather, his birth and death dates, and who his parents were, need to be connected by original documents, but not everything else. Maybe not even the birth and death dates, but certainly the intergenerational, so that we know that that is really the grandfather, your great-grandfather. You understand? Am I explaining that well now? Because I have to check marriage dates, and I shouldn't have said birth and death dates, because researching all those things just is a lot of work to prove, check to make sure you've got the documentation on that. And what we're trying to prove is your ancestors going back to a First Brethren family. Now, does anybody have a concern or a question about making that the way we do it? Or should we keep trying to check all the dates and information given? And when I put things in a newsletter, after a person's been accepted, I only put the information that's been proven, not just throwing in all the dates and everything that hasn't had to document.
I guess I have a concern. I know it's hard to prove, and sometimes you go back far and you can't even find births and deaths and so forth. But I know that there's information out there that connected John Fox back to Alexander Mack. But there's another John Fox out there also. And if you don't check dates or wives, the wife connection is what clued Dean and me that it wasn't the right John Fox, but the rumor was out there that it was connected. So what are you going to check to prove that that name really does connect back?
That is a challenge. I just don't know how much we can expect of our committee to.
I understand.
All the dates.
I
And,
understand.
there was one, the latest one we got in, seemed pretty simple. The documentation was there, proving, well, it seemed to prove the ancestry. But he didn't have all the background for birth, the documentation for births and deaths and marriages that were just kind of thrown in, but wasn't proving ancestry. So it's hard to know how much. This person, I felt connected, well, and my other people on the team felt connected, father and son, or mother and the ancestry.
Okay.
But the other dates weren't all proven, and so the group decided not to approve it, well, to ask for more information, and we went back and forth, and then I think the fellow who submitted it had some health problems, and I'm not sure he could have proven all the dates. So, and even, some names are very common, and can have a lot of, that's why birth certificates and other documentation is needed. I don't know, if you don't think that's the way to do it, we can continue to try to prove all the dates. And it's not just dates, though, like you said, wives, children, other than your ancestors. So even if you prove all the dates, you still might have some problems. Whatever you want.
Well, I guess, I trust that you looked enough to say, well, it does appear that it is lining up legitimately, and if you feel you have enough proof that you don't need all the little dates, that's fine. I just know there's information out there that's incorrect.
Yeah, there is information out there that's incorrect.
And someone can be.
We don't want to be putting incorrect information
And
out.
I had followed one, not with this project, but I had followed one line back. And what I found was the people who had connected these people, I actually had a father that wasn't born until after his son.
Yeah, those things.
That's why you need to check dates.
Yeah.
Okay, we can continue that way. Okay, wanted to check with you, and the other thing is, I need 3 or 4 more people to help with that project if we get to having more people turning in. I think it says that 3 of us have to agree, and right now it's just me, the others have dropped out. So we need, if this is to be reactivated, we need some volunteers somewhere to help with the project. I can put in the newsletter this information and see if we can't get volunteers, unless you're 3 or 4 you wanna jump in and volunteer. I'm waiting. Okay, I think that's all the possible reports we have. Now, the hard part. I'm finishing my term as president, so we should be looking for, the vice president should be coming president. But the vice president is in BVS, out of the country, and we'd like to continue as vice president for another year. Let's see, we need, this is the year to elect membership secretary, is that right? Let me check. Yeah, membership secretary, vice presidents are supposed to be elected on even years. So this would be the time to elect a membership secretary. The recording secretary has resigned, so we need a recording secretary. which we have a fill-in for the moment. But they're not just, they're one of the officers that help working things during the year too. So it's not just at the annual meeting they need to take minutes. I don't know that we have minutes from all our phone calls, but at least they're part of that. And then our secretary, our treasurer, as you heard, is having some difficulties, and it's been hard to get information, and we just don't know how much we can rely on her. She hasn't offered resignation, so I guess it'd be next year that we would elect to replace her, but it's been difficult. I don't know whether you want to say some things about your communications with her.
Well, all my communications have been with Jimmy, her husband,
Jimmy to get the,
and he just gives me updates on her health. As far as I know, when I have the printer, or the printer that produces the Brethren Roots, will send the invoice to her directly, rather than me paying him and then me getting reimbursed from Charlotte. And has been the,
he's been getting paid.
well,
As far as we know.
it would have been last year, it would have been the last
Yeah.
Brethren Roots issue that we'd had. Usually it takes him a week or two to produce an invoice. So, yeah, he wouldn't have the current
He
one
probably has
now.
an invoice yet.
And that's our main expense is the newsletter.
As far as no, unless there's other people that have expenses they submit.
No, that's not very much, very often.
It'd be, Anitra would be the only one I would know would have other expenses.
Okay, so, should we wait we haven't been getting regular reports either throughout the year or even any detailed reports for this meeting. So the question is, should we, see if we can get another treasurer, or should we, wait till next year and see how things go and? Okay, anyway, these are the questions about the officers. Is the one I haven't said?
No, that's.
Okay. So, do we have any nominations for president? Yes.
I would nominate Gerald Rhodes as to continue for a third year of his term.
It's supposed to be.
It's a 2-year term is what it says,
And
but
yeah, but the first year is as vice president, and then.
no,
Yes?
it's 2 years
Oh,
as
it's 2 years
president.
for both of them.
Yeah, it's 2
Okay,
years
yeah,
of both
2 years for
places.
both of them. Okay, so should I be going a third year? I'd rather
Yes.
not.
Well, that would be assuming that our current vice president would then be granted a year delay
Yeah,
in becoming president.
so what's people's thoughts
So
on
unless there's
this?
another nomination, my arm is feeling